All right, welcome back to the Lit and the Lost. My name's Aaron. Here's
I'm
Buddy.
Buddy.
Back at you for another episode. We're just gonna like come out and hot and heavy on this one. First story I want to talk about is the whole hantavirus or hantavirus, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Our newest coming pandemic they've got planned for us. I'm gonna go in the very beginning and call BS on this one. I'm going to say this is a fake story because everything I've heard on it so far has pointed out the fact that it seems like it's fake.
It's a scam. They're going to try to pull.
Okay, I was just making sure your mic was up
Yeah.
there. Okay. Oh yeah. It's a scam, all right. Because first off, one person pointed out the whole situation behind. Have you seen the guy's video?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, there's a guy who recorded.
I've heard a little bit about this, but not.
Yeah, there's a
probably
guy
not
who
near what you're.
there's a guy who recorded a video on the ship. You know, him crying. You know, saying.
Oh, this is the one that started on a cruise ship, apparently, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, the thing
Supposedly,
is
Simpsons predicted this. I seen a short about that earlier.
well, yeah, it's possible. Simpsons pretty much predicts everything. But the story I get is that the guy. You got a ship, you got an outbreak. It happens to be, which is super convenient for them to play out their little scenario because they claim this is a cruise ship it's a Dutch cruise liner with with people from 23 different countries on it. So what better way to spread it to the entire world than to, start it out on a ship like that. But here's the thing is there's only been one video that I've seen of this guy on that cruise ship. Nobody else is recording videos on this at all. Nobody. If you understand cruise ship culture, everybody's recording everything all the time. Yet not one person has recorded anything. They say this dude is also he's also a social media influencer, and that he has done a string of videos leading up to this cruise ship, I guess, advertising it. I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be on this cruise ship, can't wait to do it and everything. And then all of this happens. He's pretty much the spokesperson of this whole cruise ship situation.
I'm not trying to cut you off or nothing, but just listen to what you're saying. Is there anything that ties this to government planning or anything, or is this just one influencer trying to stir up a panic for views?
Well, see, I've kind of thought about that and everything. And at first I was like, okay, well, maybe this is a thing. I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, maybe this is a thing. But here's the deal with it, though, is if you, and I've had multiple people, they even give the actual page. They're like page 38 of the COVID vaccine. Almost like, I guess, the online insert version of it. Hantavirus is a side effect as well. And so I honestly believe that this right here has been planned, because before this one was 2020, it was COVID. Before that one, it was what, 2014?
That bird flu?
One of them. Before that one, it was 2008. I believe one of them was swine flu, one of them was Ebola, and one of them was, I forget which the other one was, but
mad cow disease,
and all the way back to 2002 and everything seems to line up every 6 years, almost like they've been almost like they've been planning.
They're trying to pull out. They're trying to figure out ways to where they can. This is all tests.
It's
a test to see how well they can get us to follow.
Right.
And obey.
And here's one for you. They've also got research that they've come out with saying that they started a vaccine for the hantavirus back in 2022. So they were already planning a vaccine for this for the last 4 years.
Which they ain't no telling what this vaccine's going to do.
Everything about this.
Yeah, why would you be planning a vaccine for something that?
Well, they did the same thing to the coronavirus. They were doing a vaccine for the coronavirus years before it.
No, that virus, that vaccine come out quickly. like less than. Did you know almost every
Research it
vaccine?
though.
I know, but almost every vaccine has to go through. I think it's 7 years.
No, what I'm saying is research it. They were doing the vaccine for the coronavirus years before, but on a timeline as far as like putting it out in the public media,
Well,
it seemed like a short period of time, but they were working on that
well, they
long
claim if
before.
you do the research that there was a point during the Obama administration where he mentioned the coronavirus,
I'm
and that
sure.
was years
Yeah,
before the actual coronavirus hit.
yeah, I'm sure they
That was
did.
made in the Wuhan.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I call BS on this one, right?
Well, and people
Because
are not going to
Fauci
comply this
Fauci's
time.
already
Oh
screaming,
man,
we need to mask up,
Fauci
we need
needs to be in
social
prison.
distance, we
Um,
need to do social distancing. We got
yeah, and let's talk about that. Let's get into social distancing. I remember during the coronavirus, the whole pandemic shut down everything. There were governors of states trying to stop churches from having service outside, sitting 6 foot apart, but nobody said a word about protesters being shoulder to shoulder in hundreds of
well, not just
even.
that, but did you not see
How come that was
did
okay,
you
but
not see the
people?
pictures in California? They wouldn't let people eat in restaurants because you were closed in, but they had these little tents outside, these little covered tents, social distancing tents, where people could eat in those. So you took people in, 20 square feet and shoved them in like, 10, 15
And
square feet.
you were forced to wear a little cloth mask that later was proven that that mask didn't even protect you
Yeah.
from the coronavirus. Yeah, the coronavirus should go right through that mask.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's all. I
I
don't
did,
think people are going to comply this time, though.
but the thing that
I think
gets
people
me
are going to
though,
fight it way more
the
because they know what happened last time.
well, the thing that gets me is the fact that the hantavirus is an actual documented side effect. And look further into it, there's over 1,200 documented side effects of the coronavirus vaccine. The hantavirus is one of
Well,
them.
and it's like, okay, another one that always cracked me up was, and I'm not trying to get on no soapbox here and get everybody riled up about political crap, but I mean, you take when we got our vaccines when we were kids before we could go to school, they didn't say 6 months later, hey, you need another round of those vaccines. And then 6 months later, hey, you need another round of those vaccines. I mean, how many do I have to have
When
9 vaccines for one thing?
when we were
And that's what
kids,
happened with the
when we were
coronavirus.
kids, it was either I want to say it was either 7 or 9 vaccines
Yeah,
was
that's
on our
all it was. It
schedule.
wasn't a whole
Now
lot. It was like
I
tetanus
want to
and
say it's like 93.
oh, good lord.
It is, yeah,
Well,
it
what do they
is.
do?
It
My
is
kids didn't get no 93 vaccines, and they're 12 and 6.
over the course of time. It adds
Well,
up.
what I'm saying
I
is
guarantee you,
each
when your
shot.
kids were born, they got 7 or 8 just right out the gate.
Well, I want to know, like, when I don't remember my kids getting any vaccines when they were born. If they gave them, they didn't tell us about them.
Buddy, they
But
never tell anybody.
but the thing is if there's 93 of them, my kids ain't had no 93 shots.
Over the course of time, like throughout their whole school
But I'm
year
saying
or school
is one
career.
shot like 15 of the vaccines mixed together in a bottle?
I don't know how many,
Because
but
it
I know
can't be one shot for every vaccine.
there's a couple of shots. There's a couple of shots that have at least 3 vaccines in them, and that's 3 right there.
Well, look at you look at puppies. The shots you give them are called 7-in-1s.
Yeah.
So I think some of these, if you're getting 93 of them, then they're giving you 15-in-1s. I mean, it ain't no 7-in-1s. Because my kids ain't had 9. No, shoot, Freedom's 12, and he ain't had 6 or 8 shots in his life so far at 12.
I don't give our kids shots anymore. We sign the vaccine waivers. I don't do that.
Well, my kids done had almost all the shots they got to have anyway.
Because of vaccines, autism it went from like 1 in 30,000 to 1 in 34 now. They say it's normal for a kid to not really start talking until 2, 3, 4 years old. There's nothing normal about that. We spoke to a doctor about a year ago, give or take, and he said for a little girl now to start her period at the age of 9, not that big of a deal.
Dude, I had a friend, I'm no names, but I had a friend that she was telling me, I used to joke around about the reason kids are maturing quicker now physically is because the steroids they use in the food. I raise chickens, okay? Did you know they say from the time the chicken is born till the time KFC is cooking that thing in a fryer, they're only like 6 to 12 weeks old.
Yeah. Oh,
I've
yeah.
had
I know
baby
what you're talking
chickens.
about.
I've had baby chickens in 6 months. They still ain't grown chickens.
Yeah, I know
So
what you're
they're
talking about.
pumping
Well,
them
those
for
are
us.
hens. Those are hen. Well, not only that, but
Have you ever
it's
seen
genetic breeding to breed them to where they grow bigger, faster.
I ain't never seen a chicken walking around with Dolly Parton sized breasts on it like I get when I go to KFC.
Well, I was about
Don't
to
get me
say,
wrong,
I'm
I
about to say
love
we
KFC.
eat them when we go to KFC.
KFC, I love my KFC, man. That's my favorite fried chicken in the world. But yeah, and here's your funny one. This is kind of on the same subject you're talking about autism. Did you know I watched I read a research thing, and I even found a little clip of it on the internet one time where I watched it. And they said they did this big study where they went to Amish communities all over the country and documented autism within Amish communities.
There's almost no autism.
Well, here's the funny thing. Amish don't vaccinate their kids.
Right.
They found 3 cases of autism in all the Amish communities, and every one of those kids were adopted.
Yeah, okay.
Outside.
I was thinking 2 of them were adopted. Yeah, I know.
No, there was 3. There was 2 or 3. It was 2 or 3, but all of them though that had it were not natural born in the Amish community. They were adopted later.
Have you ever seen the video?
That's kind of weird.
You ever seen Bill Gates' video on TED Talk?
I don't watch.
He went on TED Talk.
Bill Gates is the biggest shyster on the face of this earth.
Right. That's getting to my point, boy.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me get there. He did a video. Well, he was up on stage, big seminar. It's called TED Talk. Just type in Bill Gates.
I've heard of TED Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was talking about lowering the global population.
Yeah. So they want to lower it to like 500,000 or something.
500 million.
500 million.
Right.
Okay.
But he was talking about lowering the global population, and he said in the coming years, if we're smart about it, he said with new healthcare services and new vaccines, we can do that. Healthcare services, obviously, that's Planned Parenthood. So they're going to kill as many of them as they can in the womb.
You still ain't going to bring it from 8 billion down to 500 million.
Right. If you're going to lower the population with a vaccine, there's only 2 ways you can do it. Only 2 ways you can do it. Either sterilizing people with the vaccine or killing people with the vaccine.
Yeah, but if you sterilize people,
and he openly admits he's going to lower population.
No,
he's going to lower the global population with vaccines.
You can do a research on this. There is an actual, and I'm not getting into all that Illuminati crap or none of that stuff.
I will.
But there's an actual, no, not right now. Maybe some other day. But no, there's an actual group that meets like once or twice a year of people.
You talk about and
that's their main
the G7 summit, something like that?
That's their main thing. Is all of these people talk about we've got to bring the population down to 500 million.
I know what you're talking about. I think that's.
And then after they talk about that, what happens? Bill Gates all of a sudden starts putting all his money into vaccines, lab-grown meats, stuff like that. That if you're taking anything that man is producing after he said that he wants to bring the world's population down to 500 million, you're an idiot.
Oh yeah, okay? Yeah. He went
because he just told you, I want the world's population down to this size, and now I'm doing medicine and vaccines.
Right. He went from back in the day in computers to creating viruses.
He's literally
selling you the antivirus.
He's literally
become creating diseases and then selling you the vaccines.
And he has literally become a mad scientist.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. If you love him, go with your bad self. Okay, but he is literally a mad scientist.
Yeah. Well, he's a puppet too, though. Everything he does.
This is stuff he wants to do too.
Well, this is what he wants to do, but everything he does is ordered by global powers. This ain't one person. But if this was one person, he'd have been done a long time.
If I had as much money as he has, ain't nobody telling me what to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't comply, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein proved that.
Jeffrey Epstein worked for $200 billion.
Well, he worked for certain world governments, and then
I think that's why
when they decided that he was no longer of use, they got rid of him.
That's why I think people like Elon are so cocky, because he knows I don't have to do anything you want me to do. I do what I want to do.
Hey,
I have more money than a lot of governments. You can't make me do nothing. He even told Disney that when they started doing all that, pulling their ads from his stuff. He said, I don't care. He said, I got enough money. He said, I don't care if I lose Disney. And then he says that whole thing where he says, you understand what I'm saying, Bob? And he was talking about, the guy that runs Disney.
Wait, speaking of Disney and Jeffrey Epstein, you heard about what happened recently, didn't you?
No.
The Disney cruise?
Not the connection between them two.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, there's not an actual direct connection to Jeffrey Epstein, but there is a connection to Disney and pedophilia.
Well, they've been hiding penises in the artwork of their animation for
I'm
years.
not talking about that. I'm talking about the big child porn bust they did on a Disney cruise liner also recently. I want to say it's 23. I could be wrong. It could be more than that, but it's in the 20s. People who were busted dealing, distributing, and they're all up in that, and they were all affiliated with Disney, and they got busted like directly on the cruise liner.
What is it? What is going on a cruise liner? Are they making porn? Making child porn on the cruise liners?
No, oh, I don't. Now,
I was fixing to say, because these kids don't have parents.
I think these are just people.
They send these little kids on cruise liners alone.
Hey, we gonna call this the Disney curse. I'm gonna joke around and call this the Disney curse, because if you think about it, Disney has had so many people get busted in that area.
Well, yeah.
It's almost like, and
even at the parks, they had people get the ones in them costumes get busted.
That's what I'm saying. Like, while running the risk of overstepping my boundaries.
Well, if you're a pedophile, you want to work in an industry that revolves around children. Well, it just makes sense.
And see, that's what I was going to joke and say. It's almost like Disney. It's almost like Disney looks for these.
If you have a food addiction, you're going to work in a fast food restaurant or something. You know what I mean?
True. I guess
you're going to be
that's one way of looking at it.
A barbecue joint,
But yeah, dude, it's freaking wild, dude. Disney, yeah, and it coincided almost day for day with this whole cruise ship, this hantavirus cruise ship. So I don't know.
So child porn is connected to the hantavirus.
I don't know if Disney.
I think we're stretching a little.
I don't know if Disney's doing that.
We're stretching
to run interference for that, or if
this rubber band
hantavirus thing is running interference.
This rubber band's about to break. We're stretching a little too far.
No, I won't go out of my way to make connections without
there's
at least
there's crazy things, and yeah, it's no lie that there's been a lot of child crimes that revolved around Disney. I'm not going to say it's Disney themselves. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's Disney themselves, except it's the employees that work for Disney. Okay. Because, like I said, if you're a pedophile, you want to work in an industry where you're around and deal with children.
Okay, and I can understand what you're saying, but at the same time, you got to understand that Disney themselves is known for putting sexual innuendo in all their cartoons.
Well, a lot of that, though, is the artists hiding stuff, or the writers.
Okay, buddy.
Well, I know what you're saying
right now, dude. You got the people who create the script. You got
I'm not a fan of
who decide what they want in it. You got the artists. Then you got the editors. This stuff doesn't slip past.
Well, like everybody. I said, don't think I'm defending. I mean, I've got beef with Disney too. I had how they did my girl Gina, but
Gina
Carano, when they fired her because she didn't align with their political beliefs. She's the one that fixed to fight Ronda Rousey.
Oh, is she the one who...
She's in Deadpool, the one that fought Colossus at the end.
What did she make?
It was the one where she said that in a lot of ways the liberals are like Nazis, the way they are trying to control everybody's thoughts and what they believe and say and all that kind of stuff. And I'm probably misquoting it. But to me, I took it as kind of along the lines of, you're calling us fascists, but you're the ones trying to censor us.
Yeah. Hey, that's the way it's always been.
Well, like I said, I don't want. Let's not get political.
But you talk about you talk about controlling thoughts and stuff. I've actually got a topic here that kind of goes along with that. It's the whole AI boom.
Yeah. I hate it. Especially with YouTube and stuff. I've got to where I freaking despise AI.
Yeah. I'm not
everything.
Not a huge fan of it.
They're doing it now where they're taking people like they're actually having. They're using, and this should be illegal. You should be able to get arrested for this. They're having people like Dana White. I just watched an AI video. It sounded just like his voice, everything, where he is dogging on Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano and all this for not, because they're doing this fight under the Paul brothers little thing, and not
anybody who
but
watches
it's a fake
UFC,
video, and you can tell it's fake.
Anybody who actually follows UFC would know. That's a load
and they did an Adam Sandler one where he's going off on Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm with him on what he was saying, but it was fake. It wasn't really him saying this stuff. That should be illegal. Like, you should be able to sue the people that made that.
It is illegal.
Apparently not. It's all over YouTube. There have been
several people arrested in recent.
There's going to come a time
recent years, but in recent year,
there's going to come a time in 10 years where you're not going to be able to tell what is real
Well,
and what's fake.
that would come
People
out.
are even going to make videos saying what they want to say, and then if they get in trouble, they're going to say that's AI. That's not really me.
Well, yeah, but you can prove that. Sadly enough, you can prove it's
But
not
will you be able
AI
to in 10
with
years?
AI. I don't. Well,
With
I
how
mean,
advanced it's
but how
getting?
advanced is our computers going to be to be able to tell them
Well, yeah,
to
I get
them?
what you're saying.
I mean, you talk about the whole AI thing, and being realistic and stuff. That's a whole new problem with sexual predators.
Well, yeah.
They say that you talk about it being super realistic. They said
They're going
there'll
to be
come a
making
time.
AI child porn.
That's what I was gonna mention. Talking about people
And
using
then they're going to
AI
say,
to make that crap.
no actual child was molested
Well,
or raped, so
I like to
you can't.
imagine. I like to imagine they'll come out with laws on that.
Well, they will. They'll have to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to.
Oh, but
Tell
yeah,
me your
yeah.
story about mind
There's,
control and
and I don't know how. Well, it's not necessarily mind control. It's artificial memories. I don't know how far they are into the research, but they're doing research right now to do implantable memories. Almost like you
that's
remember that.
Manchurian Candidate kind of
Well,
stuff.
not
Yeah,
necessarily that, but you remember the movie Total Recall, right?
yeah.
You show up, they put the
Oh, and you go on a
memories.
vacation and you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
really go.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
check this one out. Here's a crazy one: is AI prison, where you can, like, they'll give you a choice. If you get in trouble, you can serve 5 years in prison, or we can do the AI thing and implant 10 years worth of prison memories. And the
Oh,
thing is,
Demolition Man.
well, the thing about that is
They gonna give them a skill while they're
is
at it.
the memories they implant in you would be so realistic. You'll come out of that surgery, operation, I guess, procedure, whatever, so convinced that it happened that you would actually choose regular prison time over the AI memories.
Well, I don't know if you
It's
get.
all
Well,
you
yeah,
get what
if
I'm
you want to
saying,
retain your But
right?
hey, think about what else you could do with that. Instead of going to trade school to learn how to rebuild transmissions, they could AI implant all the information on how to build a
Yeah,
transmission.
ain't nobody going to implant anything into my head,
Well,
dude,
no,
because
me neither.
you don't.
I don't want my screwed up memories taken away.
Well, not just that,
I
but
earned these.
you can't implant all that stuff into your head and not expect it for to wreck your brain in some way.
Well, yeah, it's gonna. Well, yeah, because somewhere down the road, your own neural system is going to start fighting back against the fake implants. Then you're really going to be confused. You talk about schizophrenia
Yeah.
when you got these fake
No, I'm
memories in your
talking
head,
about
and then your real memories are trying to come back and fight these.
I'm talking about side effects. Like
Oh,
your body produces like signals.
yeah.
Best way I can describe it is
I keep wanting the
like
word
your thoughts.
melatonin keeps jumping in my head for some reason. That's stupid.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Your brain. I was trying to think of stuff your brain produces.
Oh, yeah. Your body produces literal signals like frequencies, radio
Doesn't your
waves and
brain
stuff.
produce DMT?
Yes, but in super small amounts though. Not enough to give you a crazy trip.
You're not enough to let you talk to the aliens.
Right, right. Well, they don't call them aliens. They call them, man. They've got all different kinds of names for them. One is they call them dang it, some like elves, but I
Yeah.
forget what kind of elves they are.
Well, the Joe Rogan tells this weird story about one time when he was on DMT, and he said this is what convinced him that there's something weird going on with it. He said he had this when he was on DMT. He said there were these like jesters dressed just like court jesters
Right.
out of a freaking King Arthur movie. He said one of them kept smiling at him. He said and all of a sudden it flipped him off. He said it instantly in my brain. He said I knew without him saying a word that he was telling me stop taking yourself so serious. Lighten up.
Mm-hmm.
And he said what was weird. He said is the more I interviewed other people, he said, and talked to other people that had done DMT. Yeah, he said a lot of them had the same exact story that I had. Like we were all seeing the same thing.
You're not hallucinating, and they've even done studies.
So what are you doing? Like looking into another dimension, kind of?
They've even done studies.
I've had them say, man, it'll change your whole life.
Right. They've even done studies though where they have all these people in a group, like 5-10 people or whatever. They give them all the same dosage and everything, and they all see the same thing. They like to refer to it as a shared hallucination.
Yeah.
But everybody's body chemistry is so completely different. Just not even like it's almost like snowflakes. You're not gonna find two of the same snowflakes.
Yeah.
Our body chemistry is so different. You cannot have the same hallucination as somebody else. You are physically looking into another
That's like they
dimension.
say there's no two sets of fingerprints in the world that are the same. But I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Just like snowflakes, um, there's no way to know that. There's
Well,
not.
but
There's not.
I think they're referring to like the vast difference in
Well, out
each
of 8 billion
snowflake.
people alive, and however many billion have lived before, you're not going to tell me that there's that many different designs that could be on the tip of your finger.
You never know, dude. You never know.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like if your soulmate. You know,
Well, they
people
have
say
yet
use the
to
term soulmate,
right.
and I always said soulmate was weird. I said because your soulmate, it says that there's only one person for you. Did you know that if you had 10,000 soulmates in the world, what are still the chances of you finding one of them 10,000 soulmates out of 8 billion
Oh,
people?
pretty small.
Exactly.
I think to an extent, since we were all created by God, and that we all came from the same place, because I think we all originated in heaven.
Yep.
Now, when I say originated in heaven, I don't know if we were living in heaven and then we came down here, or if we were created in heaven and immediately put down here. But I think technically we're all each other's soulmates.
Well,
But it
and
all comes down to the environment we grow
I'll
up
tell you,
in.
I don't know if I'd call it creepy or just whatever, because I feel like creepy is not the right word for it. But when Freedom was a little kid, like 3, 4, 5 years old, he told me and Gloria one night. He said, "Did you know?" He said, "Before I was born, he said Jesus let me pick my parents."
Hey, that's not necessarily that
I'm just
far
saying
fetched.
I know that's what I'm
Hey, I
saying.
believe
Creepy's
that.
not the word, but
Right, right. I believe that. I mean, that actually
But
sounds
he
kind of
told, and
cool.
this is a little bitty kid telling us this. He said, "Yeah, before I was born, he said, before I was in your stomach, he said, Jesus let me pick the parents I wanted. He said, and I picked y'all."
Hey, that sounds pretty cool. So, hey, speaking of souls, what you got?
Oh, souls. Okay, yeah, nice intro.
I know. Everything seems to be jumping from subject to subject, just perfect.
I'll tell you this, and I believe if you study the Bible, that you will learn that I'm right on this. And Aaron, he knows all about this. Um, you know how we talk about all the time, and this is a big thing now with celebrities, about celebrities selling their soul to the devil for whatever fame, fortune, power, whatever. Did you know, according to the Bible, you can't sell your soul to the devil. You don't own your soul. God does. But here's the trick: Satan can trick you into thinking that you can sell your soul to him, and if he gives you the price that you asked for your soul, then you automatically are convinced, because you got what you asked for your soul. You're convinced then and there that you sold your soul. So technically, you are giving up your place in heaven because you so strongly believe that you're going to hell because you sold your soul.
Quit
Oh,
tapping on the
okay.
table.
That's how I think sometimes,
Yeah,
man.
I
But
know.
anyway, yeah.
Everybody's
So
shaking our
I
camera.
just letting you know that's kind of a weird thing nobody ever talks about. Is you could be tricked into thinking you can sell your soul,
Yeah. I was about to
but
say,
you
yeah,
can't
it's.
sell your soul
I
because
agree with
you
you
don't
completely on
own
that.
your soul. Your soul came from heaven, and in the end, it can either go back to heaven, or if you strongly believe enough that you're going to hell, then you're putting yourself
Well,
in
our
hell. You're
soul,
giving yourself to the devil by believing that strongly that you're going to hell.
our soul is kind of like almost like the Trinity, I guess, of
Yeah,
people's bodies. God loves the number three. Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
yeah.
Kind of like they say, water can exist in three forms. Vapor, liquid, and ice. Our soul is the same way.
Or solid,
We have
liquid, or mist,
right.
air. Yeah,
We have or gas, but
yeah.
we have the same thing as with our body. You have your body, you have your spirit, and you have your soul. When your body dies, it goes into the ground. Your spirit, which is your consciousness, goes either to heaven or hell, and your soul goes straight to heaven. They refer to it as mind, body, spirit.
Yeah, but what happens to your soul when it goes back to heaven? Does he put it in somebody else?
I don't know.
Or is there just a big old vault up there
Yeah, he's
full
probably.
of billions of
I
souls?
don't know if it's. I mean, I like to think your soul is a living being all on its own.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jesus the Son and God the Father. They're the same. They're part of the same body. Well, I mean, we have our consciousness and then we have our soul. It could be two
Yeah.
beings in one.
But yeah,
I mean,
anyway, the moral of the story was, yeah, these people, everybody always hollers, oh, they sold their soul to the devil. No, they offered their soul to the devil, and he gave them what they were wanting for
And then
it,
they gave up after
and
that
then they
because they
gave
thought they
up.
sold
They
it.
put themselves in hell in the end because they believe that's where they're going.
Right.
And God is not going to take you to heaven if you don't believe you belong in heaven. If you believe you belong in hell, that's where you're going to go. So yeah, that was
Well,
a little
I'm about to
short
say
one, but
it's factual.
yeah.
Got
So
anything
what
else?
else you got?
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this was old too. It goes. It's one of Einstein's theories. Einstein said that as far as time travel goes,
Yeah.
he said you can't travel to the future because the future hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
He said, but theoretically, you can travel to the past because the past has happened. Here's my theory, and it messes my head up every time I think about it, is if we can travel to the past,
Yep.
according to his theory, if we can travel to the past,
then how do we come back to the future?
Well, not just that.
If where you're at,
if we can travel
happened.
to the past, that's their future traveling to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so if their future can travel to them, then our future can travel to us. And if our future can travel to us, then that means we're in the past. That means all this has already happened. We're dead and gone. That all we are is these are just ripples in time. Because think about it. If we can travel to our past, then that means, let's say we travel to 1900.
Yeah.
1900, their future is traveling to them. So if their future can travel to them because they're in the past, then that means our future could travel to us, which makes us in the past. And so if we're in the past, then all this has already played out and happened. We're just living a memory.
It's like a Matrix kind of situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
But here's what's weird and boy, some of these videos will freak you out. Then there's dozens of, maybe hundreds on the internet right now that you can go look up, where people said ever since 2020, nothing has seemed right. Like something happened in 2020 or maybe even 2012 that nothing seems.
I think it might be 2012.
They claim that it's even caused what they call the Mandela effect, where you remember the Fruit of the Loom,
right, the cornucopia,
having the cornucopia, and then and like what's that one funny one with what was it, Sinbad?
Yeah.
Did some kind of genie movie, Shazam. They said that movie does not exist.
That movie exists.
Well, yeah, but what happened to it? How come nobody can prove it exists anymore, but everybody remembers it?
I watched the video.
And I wonder if they're just confusing it with the Shaq one.
No, there's actual footage of Sinbad.
Maybe it was something that they filmed, but it was never released.
Footage of Sinbad before AI came out.
I know, but how do you know that wasn't footage that was filmed and they never finished it?
And they say this little boy had the IQ that was off the charts. I watched it a while back.
Is he the one that disappeared?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the one who claimed, he said that all this came about when they fired CERN up for the very first time. They said CERN, the Large Hadron Collider. It's this massive underground particle collider over in Switzerland. He said when they fired that up, it had catastrophic results and completely destroyed our reality. And when it destroyed our reality, it kicked us over into a different reality, and it merged
I've heard about that
with their reality. So now we're dealing with the memories of our reality, but we're dealing with all the physical properties of their reality.
Yeah, I've watched stuff over that before.
Yeah,
that's a weird deal.
Explain that, and then
they talk about so many different things even how like some where they're hollering that they're cloning celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well here's and how different they are from what maybe that happened when that happened. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Eminem was around way before 2012, and they swear up and down that he's been cloned. But here's the funny thing that I try to explain to people, and if you really think about it scientifically, you might disagree with me, and I know some people will, but you cannot clone an adult.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
You have to. I believe you can clone humans. Don't get me wrong. I think people have been cloned, but I think they're cloned. But they have to be born as a baby when they're cloned.
According to
all you're doing is using their
our understanding of cloning. We don't know how that works.
Yeah,
I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, but I'm not even going to comment on that because I don't know anything.
Well, yeah, but I'll comment on it because here's the biggest kicker that proves you cannot clone an adult. If you cloned a full-grown adult, how long is it going to take you to teach them to walk and talk?
Oh, I don't know.
Because they're not going to be born any more than a
A
baby
lot of
and
these
just be able
adults
to
that they
talk.
claim are clones, I think, are just people dressed up in super
I don't think.
elaborate,
I think
like
they
the
just
whole
look different. People
Jim Carrey.
change.
Jim
I
Carrey,
think that was Jim Carrey at
you
that.
dude. Okay, I'll get. You know what? Let's say for a
Even
second.
Jim Carrey himself has come out and said, "Dude, that was me. I
Let's
was
say
just in a weird place."
let's imagine for a second that that one's accurate, that that actually was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You're not for a split second going to convince me that that was actually Celine Dion who came out. I want to say it was
Well,
on
you
the
know, Celine
Grammys.
Dion can't even sing or do anything right now. She's got a lot.
Right,
She's
right.
dying.
Celine Dion two
She has
years
a
ago looked.
degenerative, some kind
She
of.
looked like she was 90 years old. She looked like a Disney witch. She looked like Cruella de Vil
Well, look how
practically.
good and she
But
looked at in
well, see,
Deadpool 2 or with 2. Yeah,
but
Deadpool
see,
2.
here's the thing though: is she came out on stage. I'm wanting to say, and I could be wrong on this, but I want to say it was the Grammys last year, maybe a year and a half ago. She looked like she was in her 20s again.
I know. Well, no,
Zero
I just
chance.
watched the
That
thing
wasn't
about.
her.
I just watched the thing about celebrities with terminal that are on their deathbeds, and it was like Bruce Willis
Yeah,
and
Celine
Mick
Dion's one of
Mars
them.
from Motley Crue and
That's
Celine
weird because
Dion.
I've seen him on like radio
Yeah,
shows
but
and
you know,
stuff
Mick
in recent
Mars has had
history.
that disease that he's got for. He had it back in the '80s when they were huge. That's why they say if you go back and watch
Oh
their
no, I'm thinking
videos.
Nikki Six. I was
No,
thinking
I'm talking
not
Mick
Mick
Mars, the
Mars.
guitar, the one
Right,
that's
right.
like 20 years older than the rest of them.
Yeah,
He's had a disease
yeah. I
where
was thinking of somebody
his
else.
bones are so weak. If you go back and watch any concert, any video, he doesn't move. He just stands there.
Well,
He
yeah.
does not walk
Well,
around.
yeah. If
He
you got
can't.
you talk about osteoporosis, or is it a
Yeah, it's one of
disease
them like
that
that.
like
It's something that
advances
messes with his bones
osteoporosis?
and his muscles,
Mhm.
where he really don't have the strength, and it's just degenerative, so he gets weaker as the years go.
Right.
They claim back when the other three would go out and party all night doing drugs that he had an old Commodore computer that he'd had the roadies put up in his hotel room, and he would sit in there in his hotel room and just play old Atari style video games because he didn't get
Hey,
around good. He
I was
couldn't
about to
do
say
drugs
you
or
got to do what you
drink.
got to do.
But no, that Celine Dion thing, yeah, I seen her and she can't sing no more. She can barely talk. And yeah, I don't believe.
Oh, I've seen her. Yeah, I've seen a video of her when she was in one of her. I'm not gonna say her fits, but I guess like a where it is when your body like kicks in, almost like a seizure. We'll call it a seizure. When she was in the middle of one of her episodes,
Yeah,
and like, dude, she could barely even move. She had a team of like 4 or 5 people around her, like gently moving her and
yeah.
stuff like that.
I
Oh
feel
yeah,
bad for those. I mean, it's like Bruce, man. Bruce was mine one day, and the dude he can't even talk anymore.
this is just a theory because it's floated around a couple of times. But they claim Bruce Willis. They claim he might have gotten his as a side effect from the coronavirus
He might
vaccine.
have, but now
Because they said there's a lot of neurological side effects from that
here's
vaccine.
a weird thing I'll tell you, and this is kind of one of them Hollywood whistleblowers, and who knows if it's true or not. But he was talking about the whole cloning thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Look, man," he said, "they're not cloning adults, doppelgangers, to take the place of these grown celebrities." He said what they're doing, and he used Britney Spears as an example. He said he claims they cloned Britney Spears, but as a baby. He said, and now as she gets older, they can sexually, you know, do stuff to her like she was back when she was oops, I did it again age. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like pretty much saying they're cloning these certain
Oh, you're
females
talking about
so they could
cloning.
use them as
Yeah, you're talking about
pedophile
cloning.
stuff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They want to own that
all
back
that's
in their early
say,
12 years old and
catch
stuff.
up to society.
Well, man,
I
it
tell
needs
you
to
right
do it
now,
quick
dude.
because I'm tired of
it
waiting
is.
for it.
All of us gonna
I'm
catch
tired
up
of waiting for
eventually.
it. And I don't even care if this Epstein stuff and all that. I don't even care if a lot of these people are on our side politically. I want them all busted.
Well, yeah.
I don't care if it's somebody I've idolized.
Yeah,
If they were involved and it's proven, put them down.
Right, it doesn't matter if they're on the left or the
bury
right.
them under the prison.
No, I'm with you on that 100%.
I don't care what side it is. I don't care if it ends up being nobody but the ones on our side. Take them down.
Mm-hmm.
If the other side's innocent, that sucks that it was our side that went down. But
it's both
I believe.
sides.
Well, I know.
It's
I believe it's
sides.
very equal. I believe it's very equally. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna lean that it's more one side than the other. But there are people on both sides, that are involved. And take them down. That's something you can't. I'm sorry, but child rapist, molesters, that's something you can't fix that. If you keep them in prison 5-10 years, and why is it that as long as you don't kill somebody, if you molest a kid or rape a woman,
Oh,
you get 5 years.
There's people.
How do
Well,
you
there's
do
people that
that?
get more time with drug charges than they do like
Dude,
sexual
when we
assault
were prison
charges.
guards, when me and you were correctional officers, there was we had guys in there for rape and child molesting that only got like uh, 5 to 10 years. I had a guy in one of my units. He got caught with a brick of weed and got 40 years.
I knew a dude in there who got caught for he was they tried to he lived in Ada and he went to ECU. And here's the crazy thing is they were trying to say that he was at somebody's house and that like sexual assault was involved or whatever, but he proved that he had nothing to do with that. Somehow along the way he got blamed for it, but the only way he was able to prove that was he was at ECU at the time. He was at the college. Him and a friend were sitting down with a laptop trying they were in a young guys, young stupid guys, they were debating which is the best porn site. And they were hopping from porn site to porn site trying to prove to each other that their porn sites were better than the other ones. And he got 8 years for watching porn on a school campus. They couldn't get him for whatever
But it
sexual
was
assault.
a college campus, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so it wasn't
And
like around school kids.
No. This
Yeah,
was this is grown ups.
yeah, grown ups.
But I mean, which you're stupid if you're watching porn around like.
Yeah, but 8 years for watching porn
No,
in
that's what
school.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like they couldn't get him for the charge they wanted, so
So
they're
they
like,
got him for something
yeah,
else.
so they're like, we're going to get you for this.
Well, there
one
was a
instead.
guy at our prison. There was a guy at the prison we worked at that shoot, he was one of them orderlies. You probably know who I'm talking about. He was an orderly up front, like he cleaned the warden's office and stuff. Big guy, and he got life because him and his girlfriend broke up, and he got mad and he went over her house. And I don't ask me why he did this, but he set her welcome mat on fire. He told me, he said, dude, he said, I did it because I was pissed and I was just trying to be a prick at the time. He said, but it was in the middle of a concrete porch.
Mhm.
A concrete porch.
But they got him for probably arson.
Arson. Well, they called it They almost called it like arson
With the
attempt to murder. Yeah. And he said, man, He said, I never did nothing violent in my life.
We could probably do an episode over just our prison stories alone, because I got some good.
I got some horrible ones too, dude.
Man, I got some. Golly, dude. Let's shut the prison thing off right now.
Yeah.
We'll let another episode.
Okay.
Because I'm actually looking forward to that one. You got anything else?
No, brother. I'm pretty much tapped for the day.
Okay. All right.
We talked about a bunch of stuff, but we didn't even plan on talking about. So
yeah, I know.
I think we're good.
We talked about a few things I had written down and a few things I didn't have written down.
Yeah.
Today's just been a weird day. It's been gloomy for the past couple of days.
Maybe next episode we'll have some. I'll have some more ghost stories, or maybe we'll do prison stories. Who knows?
I'll say I plan on having my backdrop up behind you and everything, and
because I'm sure everybody's tired of looking at this wall behind me.
That little coat rack. There's nothing up on it.
Yeah, but I like it though because it's got Spider-Man, Captain America. Anyway, so thank y'all for joining us, and please, it don't cost you nothing, but it helps us a lot. It helps with the algorithm. If you like, you don't have to comment if you don't want to, but maybe like and subscribe if you want. I don't want you to subscribe to us if you don't enjoy it.
The two main things that'll push out the algorithm is liking a video and commenting on the video. Subscribing, that's just a nice little bonus.
Yeah, and just to help us out. It takes about 2 seconds if you're already on the video anyway. And if you're hearing me say this, you're on the video.
Yeah, anyway. You're on the video anyways. All right. Well, hey, y'all have a good one.